Reflectors.
All right, here we are. It's time for the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing podcast, the 10,000 things you need to know before you write and publish a book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins.
And I'm Catherine Greenspan.
And we are
two sisters writing and publishing and podcasting.
Yes, and guess what? I just finished a workshop with the Detroit Writing Room. It was part 2 in a 3-part series about how to write a book, and we outlined a book tonight. It was really exciting.
For one of the participants?
For what?
For one of the participants?
Actually, yes, one of my coaching clients through the Detroit Writing Room was on the call. So we talked about her book. And then this other woman, we talked about her book. It was really awesome. We even had a fiction writer on. So it was really cool. I love teaching. I love sharing. And we're actually having a fall writing retreat coming up in October at the Detroit Writing Room. So it's going to be really great. But I just love to teach everything I know. Today is going to be... What?
I was going to say, let's run on that topic.
Right, because that's what the podcast is all about, is teaching you what we know about writing and publishing and promoting, actually. That's going to be the topic tonight. Writing, publishing, promoting, and having a platform, because Catherine and I joined the Detroit Writing Room's workshop a few weeks ago with the founder, Stephanie Steinberg, who's just awesome. She created the New York Writing Room, and she invited all these literary agents to talk about how to get your book published. We learned so much, and guess what word kept coming up? What was it, Catherine?
Platform. They don't care about anything but platform.
So
they don't. They actually care if your book can make money. So your book has to be sellable, or your idea for your book has to be sellable, and you have to have a platform.
Yeah. So some of the people who are on the call are like, what's a platform?
Yeah.
But it's just the reality of getting published right now. No matter how you publish your book, you need a platform to sell the books.
And platform can loosely translate to audience beyond your immediate family and people who will buy your book out of your trunk. That's not a platform. That may have worked for John Grisham a million years ago, but that doesn't work anymore.
Awesome. So we want to share with you how our author, Mort Meisner, we just published his book on October 1st. So that was 11 days ago. And it launched onto the Amazon bestseller list in 3 different areas.
Because Amazon hot new releases.
Yes.
Because it sold so many copies right out of the gate. And we're going to talk about why it sold so many copies. Guess why? Platform, audience.
Yes. So let's talk about how to build a platform.
Well, let's specifically talk about what Mort did.
Okay.
Yeah. So how many years ago did Mort start writing his book with Stephanie Roop, his ghostwriter?
I think
it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. I just want to step back a little farther from that, because the moment you start building your platform is how you're living your life. Because when people who've known Mort throughout his whole life heard about the book via all the media interviews he's been doing, they bought the book. So your platform is literally all the people who know and like you, and who have heard of you, or who know of you and respect you. So Maya Angelou once said that your legacy is all the lives you've touched. Your platform is pretty similar, because if you've touched people's lives over the many years, and he's been living he was born in 1957 and 1960. So it was 1953, I think. I think that's right. I'm a writer, not a mathematician, but so all the people you've touched in your whole life who like you, love you, are impressed by your work, who've been influenced by your work, that's part of your platform. So a platform is something you should start building when you're writing your book, but your platform is also what have you been doing your whole life? Because everything you did, where you went to school, where you lived, where you worked, who you married, where you visited, you're meeting people. And every person is part of your platform. So the word platform is so impersonal, but it really is people. People who know and like you and trust you and want to support you.
Right. And you can't start thinking about platform when your book is done or on the brink of publishing it. You have to start, it's like two paths that you have to be on. One is you're writing your book, working on your book. The other is you're in the mindset of, well, you have to first determine what your objective is for your book. If you want to sell more than 100 copies of your book, you have to have a strategy and a platform. And that has to happen simultaneously down the same path as you work on the book, so that when you release it, you have great success the way Mort did.
Right. Absolutely. So his platform is all the people that he's known and met while working in St. Louis, Chicago, Detroit. And then in the world of journalism, people move a lot and they spread out all over the country. So he was able to reach out to his network of people to let them know that the book was coming. And so that's really, really important. And a lot of times when you sit down to write a book, like Catherine said, you just want to focus on writing the book, getting it done. But simultaneously, you need to be reaching out to people. And one way that he did that for the past all summer long, starting in, I think, June, weekly blogging on his website, weekly blogging about the book at mortmeisner.com, and also publishing in each blog post excerpts from the book. So he's like building a buzz, building a following, and then getting the subscribers to the email list so you can keep people posted about everything that's going on with the book. Hey, I'm going to be on this interview, then I'm going to be on that interview, and then arranging media interviews. Now, it's not easy to get media interviews these days because there's so much happening in the world. But if you write a press release and you send it out to your local media with the right angle, you can absolutely get the attention and get the interviews.
And what does the right angle mean for non-newsy people?
Right. So people who are sitting in newsrooms right now deciding what to cover, they want to know what's relevant right now. So two major themes in Mort's book are racism and sexism in newsrooms. Okay. So in the Me Too era, those have been huge. In the era of Black Lives Matter, race has been huge as well. So he told his story. He had already written the book, but then he was able to say, like, hey, wait a minute, I write about that. I write about racism in the newsroom. I write about sexism in the newsroom. And so why don't we pitch that topic in addition to the cocaine addiction that he overcame, in addition to the child abuse that he survived? He chose those two topics to be the main pitch points for interviews, because those are in the headlines right now. You could also think about what's trending right now. And what's trending right now are those two topics, the election, the coronavirus pandemic. So just that's why when we tell people how to pick a publishing date that's relevant and could get the best media coverage. So, for example, we have an author, Jay Terrell, who's going to publish his book that's about web marketing in January to commemorate a day that celebrates web marketing. And we had somebody in our writing club, Sakina Tanzel, who wrote a book and published it in October, which is Cybersecurity Month. And so her book is about cybersecurity. And we have Elaine Mackis, her book, A Young Man on the Front Line, Lessons of War, is coming out on Pearl Harbor Day because it's a soldier's story, her father's story about World War II, his experience. So picking a publication date that's relevant to your book topic will enable you to attract media attention to your book because they're looking for stories to cover that are relevant to the topic.
But you've got to be strategic and plan it out. You can't just throw it out there because it takes some time to connect with media, right?
It does. It does. You might have to call a couple times. They might have to set up some interviews. You want to have a little wiggle room. So absolutely. So basically, Catherine's, one of her favorite words is strategy. So have a strategy. If you're writing your book now, it's October of 2020. If you're going to release your book in October of 2021, for example, you've got all this time to start building the buzz, building the platform. You can do that on your social media platforms. And they say it's good to pick two, and they should be two that you like working with, that you can really cultivate that audience with. So whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, pick them and really devote time to cultivating, growing a following, a platform. So we've been doing that in multiple areas, and it just takes, it's like watering a plant, and you just keep watering it, and it grows and grows and grows and bears fruit. So you just have to be consistent, and that's the key. And Mort has demonstrated that. Weekly blogging every Thursday, and then setting up the media interviews, and then setting up events in person so that all the people who have been super supportive of the book can come out and celebrate as well. He's got book signings at he's got his book available at different bookstores now, and he's having a big event to celebrate with friends and family. So it's really important to celebrate your platform and provide opportunities for them to come out and enjoy some togetherness.
But also, even if you don't have a big publisher behind you sending you on a book tour, you could create your own online book tour. You could create ambassadors for your book, for your release date. And these are people that are going to be your mouthpiece when your book comes out. Mm-hmm. Mort has had help, so he has a team. But if you don't have a team, you still have supporters. So choose some supporters who can help you with the promotions. You can contact bookstores. I mean, you know, you don't have to go on a fly around the country tour because that's very costly right now. But you could make arrangements to give speeches at book stores or colleges, depending on your book's topic.
Mm-hmm. So part of your platform is your network of what we always advise our authors to sit down and make a list of all the organizations that you might have an affiliation with: sororities, fraternities, alumni associations, neighborhood clubs, professional groups, you name it.
Commerce.
Chambers of Commerce, Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, professional sororities and fraternities. Maybe you're part of a country club or like the Detroit Athletic Center, or a professional gathering place where there's membership. All those places have websites, newsletters, sometimes magazines, email blasts, events. So you want to plug into all of those networks that you're already a part of. Let them know about your book. Let them know it's coming out. Let them know everybody's tuned to WIIFM. What's in it for me? So when you pitch your content to your platform, pitch it in a way that it's giving them value. It's giving them something they want to know and they want to know more of. And in order to know it, they have to buy your book. They have to engage with you. They have to invite you to your book club. They have to invite you to speak at their event. They have to invite you to participate in something. So your goal is to have maximum engagement with as many people as possible.
And another path is, depending on your topic or your subject matter, is to approach colleges and universities or teachers if it's nonfiction and ask them if they would use your book as a teaching tool in their class. I mean, really, the sky is the limit for what you can do with your book. It's just a question of how bold are you going to be? How many people are you going to ask? And sometimes you have to ask people more than once.
Right.
More often than not, you have to ask people more than once.
And don't think they're ignoring you. People are really busy. And right now, during the pandemic, when everything is online, people just really get burned out on email and Zoom, and they want to take a break. So just be persistent. And ultimately, people will come around. But again, pitch things in a way that show that they really can benefit from you, whatever it is you're offering, whatever information you're offering. So it can be just as simple as entertainment, inspiration. If he did it, I can do it too story when it comes to the addiction, overcoming the addiction or surviving the abuse. It can be learning about an industry. You can be learning about how you succeeded against the odds. Whatever it is, pitch it in a way that lets people know there's value that can help improve their life, even if it just makes them laugh, which is really important right now.
And the other thing is to have a realistic time frame. So the PR firms that we've worked with for book launches have said no less than 4 to 6 months of promotions before the published date. So the longer the better, because the longer you have to build that platform for your publication date. So you can come out with a splash like Mort did and be an Amazon hot release.
Yes, absolutely.
On the first day out. Yeah.
Right. You want to just start building that buzz right away. And again, 4 to 6 months while you're working on the book and while you're getting it ready to publish and going through that process flies by. So don't think that sounds like a long time, because it's not. There's lots of other things you can be doing. You can be writing email blasts. It's really important to build that email list. And that means collecting email addresses and, with people's permission, putting them on your newsletter or your email blast list, where you just keep them posted about what's happening with your book, which includes sending out a link to your blog posts, and just keeping in touch with people and engaging them. And so your social media posts should do the same. So your social media posts can have like little itty bitty excerpt or a photo from the book cover, of course, a single quote from the book, just really something that keeps building that momentum and makes people feel part of the club, part of the experience of releasing your book.
And one thing Mort did is in his book, he tells all sorts of stories, but he didn't tell all the stories. So when he's doing an interview, he shares stories that are not in the book. So it makes readers and listeners want to tune in when he is being interviewed to hear those stories. And then they know that they're going to get more stories when they get the book. So yeah, exciting.
It's really awesome to watch the whole process and also to see how quickly it goes and also to see people's responses. So for example, he wrote in one of his recent blog posts and talked about it on a radio program about how people from kindergarten contacted him and they remember details about their interactions as 5-year-olds, which is a beautiful experience to have. Like somebody from when you're 5 years old calls you and tells you, wow, I really remember you, it was fun. It creates those precious, precious moments. It's awesome.
Yeah. So platform. This episode of the Two Sisters podcast has been all about why it's critically important to understand what a platform is and to spend time creating and having a strategy for building your own platform way prior to completing your book and publishing your book.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that can keep you motivated to do the work that's required to build your platform is you put blood, sweat, and tears, not blood really, but that's a metaphor, for you put all this energy and effort and spent money on publishing the book. So you want people to read it. You want people to buy it. You want to earn a return on your investment of your time, your energy, your money, your dream. And you want your book to inspire people. You want your book to educate people. You want your book to make people smile or laugh or have some kind of great reaction, right? So building your platform, you can think about as building the audience of people who are going to be better for having read your book. So when you think about how you're being a positive influence on the lives of others, it's more than that impersonal word, platform. So
right, your platform is an expression of the objective you have for the reason that you're writing the book and giving the book to the world.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we hope you've all learned something tonight and that you feel inspired, and also that you see this awesome example of how having a platform and cultivating the platform can land you on the bestseller list and also just get people talking about your book and buying your book. So I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I want to thank you for joining the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing Podcast, 10,000 Things You Need to Know to Write and Publish Your Book. And Catherine?
I'm Catherine Greenspan. Thank you very much for tuning in. Next week, we'll talk about we'll go deeper into the second type of author.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Meanwhile, happy writing.
Bye.
Bye.